Entón, esta é unha serie de 3 entrevistas feitas a persoas que atenderan ao evento da HEMA de Tomar a fin de semana do 10 de novembro en Portugal. A idea un bocadiño disto é expor a algunhas das persoas atendentes a este evento e aguardo que a outros tamén no futuro para que poidan mostrar o tipo de práctica e estudos que están a facer nas artes marciais históricas europeas. Nesta entrega vamos ter a Karin Verelst e a súa entrevista vai ser en inglés porque ela é flaminga que é bióloga molecular e antropóloga e leva moito tempo a treinar a HEMA. En Tomar presentou un traballo xa presentar en Dijon este ano antes sobre o Abrazare e o bastonchelo de Fiore dei Lidi. Vai nos reflectir tamén un bocadiño acerca da importancia do traballo da luita corpo a corpo nas artes marciais históricas europeas.
Alright, so Karin, tell us who you are. Hello. Tell the viewers who you are, what you do.
I'm Karin Verelst. I'm from Belgium, Belgica. I have been doing since nearly 10 years HEMA now. I have been and still am studying with Alwin Goethals in Belgium. He runs one of the oldest clubs, Sparta. He's an excellent teacher. I owe him very much. But apart from that, I have been enlarging also a little bit into destreza, working a little bit more into certain aspects of dagger and bastoncello fiore things and things like that. And I have cooperated with the founding of a Brussels group. I'm not teaching there anymore now, but I teach there in the beginning. So since a short while, I'm starting to develop myself a little bit more as also not only a practitioner and a competitioner, but an instructor of HEMA, slowly. And I'm very happy that I could come here in this event in Portugal and practice Abrazare and Ringen with really very dedicated students.
You would say that you are most a generalist, or are you sort of specializing perhaps in Abrazare and Ringen?
So the weapon I practice, I focus completely on is the German longsword, of course. Not of course, but that is the German longsword. In our group, we always do Ringen or Abrazare as part of the curriculum. This is really something important, and I have absorbed this idea completely. I'm convinced that you cannot be a good swordsman or swordswoman if you do not do close combat in whatever kind of form, be it Abrazare, be it Ringen, whatever. And from there, Abrazare, Ringen, to the dagger work as well. And from there to the close combat work with the sword, the Ringen, Amschwert, everything. I think for both your positions, your stability, execution of techniques, etc., it is crucial to do Ringen and Abrazare, and I like it. And as it happens, I have been focusing on the bastoncello, the short stick of Fiore, and apparently there is interest in it because it is very good basic tool to demonstrate principles of Abrazare and to work with the idea of some self-defense applications as well. So I'm developing slowly into that direction, yes.
Well, that's very interesting. The Dobringer manuscript, the 3227A.
Yes, because we all know actually Dobringer did not write the book.
So it says that all fencing comes from Ringen.
Yes.
Would you encourage people to really develop their wrestling skills, their ringing skills? Do you think that's a necessary field that we should develop more in the fencing schools around the world?
Absolutely. I mean, the so-called Dobringer manuscript is the oldest manuscript we have in the Lichtenauer tradition. It is one of the most detailed described. It describes in most details the principles, the ideas, the techniques. He says Ringen is the basis of everything. I believe him. If we look at Asian martial art, we see the same. This is not a coincidence. I think, in principle, of course, every group develops as it wishes. But I think, in principle, it would be good if every group would have some aspect of Ringen or Abrazare close combat in its curriculum. I believe it's really necessary. So I hope that Ringen and Abrazare, close combat, grappling, everything becomes more important in HEMA. If I can contribute a slight little bit, I would be extremely happy.
I remember that we talked yesterday that it's not only important in itself, ringing or wrestling or Abrazare. I mean, it's really interesting in itself, but it also prevents you from changing or distorting the distance at which you actually practice the longsword. Because if you don't fear the other people's wrestling, or if you don't know how to wrestle yourself, you may, for example, come closer to the other person when you're fencing.
Yes, yes, yeah. I mean, both in the Italian school, I'm not very well versed with the Italian longsword. I only know the bits and pieces. But they have gioco largo and gioco stretto. In the German school, you have Zufechten, Angreifsphase, Kriegsphase. This is 3 distances. But from the moment that you are coming into distance, the possibility of closing the distance and going to touching the other person's body or weapon is there. And then you can do a lot of things. Of course, it is very difficult. I find it still myself extremely difficult to do this even in sparring. But there are things, it's also a state of mind. You're not afraid anymore. You can choose on what distance you're going to work. And if you're there, very often you see this in the competition, people standing like this.
And everything
stops. Yes. And I must admit, it happens to me still very often. But then, if your mind and your body at a certain point say, oh, fuck, I can do this arm lock.
And then suddenly you can do that, and your fighting becomes complete, and they know you can do that, and the fighting changes. They won't come close, they won't stay there. And at that distance, that's where the sword technique works. So everything makes more sense.
Yes. That's a very good point that you're making there, because I did not so clearly think about this. Thank you for that. If you know that the person can come close and knows to do his or her techniques, that means that the other person has to take this more into account and fight responsibly, because you do not want just to be killed. So it is indeed one of the ways to ameliorate technical fighting and responsible fighting and respecting distances and doing the proper techniques at the right distance. That's completely true. I agree with that. Yeah.
That's. I think we should really try to spread that idea, because I mean, everybody likes different things, and perhaps someone likes more the ringen, the wrestling work, and other people may like more the sword. But we tend to segment the art into the weapons, and it's really one whole art. Which encompasses ringing and the long sword and the shortened sword and even some of the poleaxe techniques works with the swords too. So you should not try to have it all in your mind and work it as a whole.
That, of course, is right, and it is the ideal, but we are still far from that. I, again, am very happy that in our school, our teacher, Alvin Goodhouse, brings this idea from the start. I will not claim that I'm capable of doing it, but I try. If we can contribute something to it, I will be extremely, extremely happy. I also want to say ringen in itself is fun. If you do it in a responsible way, it's fun. And it is very often not necessary to be very strong and hard in this. In general, it means that people do not really know what they are doing. Many of the techniques, if you do sparring in a gentle way, many of the techniques are just working without, you need to be fit, etc. But they are working without excessive force. If you need excessive force, you're probably doing something wrong.
In the years you have been practicing, have you seen the interest for ringen, for Abrazare grow? Perhaps more people practicing? think it's going in the right direction?
I do not know whether there are so many more people, but I genuinely notice that there is interest. I see also people looking for ways to develop competitions. I do not mean like not only competitions, but ways to exchange and do sparring and do practice combat in practice. So I think there will be more and more space for it and more interest. Also when we go from Ringen to the use of the dagger and this kind of stuff. Not for competition, of course, with dagger, but I think indeed that people are becoming more aware, becoming more interested, and less afraid probably as well, because there are some really good people out there who can show. I still look at them and I think, oh wow, I want to learn this. So there are becoming more and more good fighters that become teachers, and I hope that this will indeed spread the gospel of Ringen and Abrazare in the HEMA world.
I hope so. I think we are seeing small steps like so on. You have been teaching these seminars in Lyon and here, and I don't know if somewhere else too.
This is the first 2 times that I teach them. Yeah. Yes. I'm very happy. It's extremely, how would I say, satisfying and gratifying, and I have seen such dedicated, good students, beginners and advanced people, and I mean, you see them grow. I grow myself, and I'm extremely happy to hear. This is a really wonderful event.
So thank you very much for coming here and for teaching us different topics about the region.
Thank you for the interview, and thanks for being here.
Okay. Bye.
Is this okay with you?
Perfect.
Oh, thank you very much.